Hello, it's From Paul here on Twitter, From Paul's iPhone on YouTube. Here today from the cockpit of a 737, the x737 project, freeware airplane for X-Plane, which is currently running on my Mac. And we are, well, let me tell you exactly, we're about 108 nautical miles away from Belfast City Airport, where we're going to attempt an auto landing. So we want the plane to land itself. We're flying through quite a lot of weather, as you can see on the radar screen and out of the window. It's quite cloudy. So in reality this would be something that maybe pilots would do if the visibility is not too great and it's quite stormy. Then the plane, you know, can pretty much land itself with a little bit of human intervention. So I'm going to take you through the process of how to use the auto land feature. And this is largely because when I was trying to suss this out, when I was trying to find videos about how to do this, nobody really explained it very well. They all were far too technical, thinking that everybody was a pretty much fully qualified pilot. And there was no videos really for the hobbyist such as me. So I'm just going to show you in layman's terms how you do this. So it's quite turbulent out there. I can see the speed indicator, the needles going up and down. So we're flying through some turbulent air, which makes sense because it looks like we're flying through thick cloud into a rain cloud. Anyway, there's two modes to the autopilot on this plane, which are the two green buttons which are currently set, LNAV and VNAV, lateral navigation, vertical navigation. If you want to auto land somewhere, you need a flight plan, and that flight plan I would recommend you can make it online for free. Do a Google search for X-Plane Flight Planner online or something like that, and it'll give you a Google Maps interface, and you can click and add routes and waypoints, and you'll also be able to put height in for those waypoints so that you can tell the autopilot at what height you want the plane to fly at. When you then engage vertical navigation, the plane will fly at those altitudes. So you want to go up, have a cruising altitude, and then come down. So this plane is currently descending, and it's on both flight plans there. It's on the lateral autopilot and the vertical. And what we're going to do to land is we need to tell the radios, the flight computer, the radios, the frequency of the ILS runway that we want to land at. So you need to find that out first. You'll find it on the charts, again on the web, but it's called ILS, Instrument Landing System. That's what you're looking for. In this case the frequency is 108.1. That would the frequency for George Best City, kind of Belfast City Airport there. So we put that in, 108.1 on both the nav radios, nav 1, nav 2. So then the plane knows where to go, and it knows what to listen out for. So the plane's making a turn now. It's kind of approaching final descent. So what we want to do once we've put the number in on the computer and on the radios, the ILS frequency, we've planned the flight path so that it's definitely going to fly in line with the runway as well. So we're not just flying some random path, we are flying in a completely logical approach. So the plane itself would fly over the runway even if the auto land feature wasn't applied. So the plane's making a couple of adjustment turns now, and we probably want to start getting ready for landing. So what we're going to do, I'm going to talk you through this. I'm going to change this dial here to VOR, which is there, and it just draws some extra symbology on the MFD, which you probably can't see at the moment, but it's nice to know it's there. This box area here is very important. You can can tell you that the autopilot's doing the speed of the aircraft, it's doing lateral navigation and vertical navigation. So it's doing both. The speed is currently set to 280. I'm going to now dial that in to 200 because we want to slow the plane down. What you'll also notice is just appeared at the bottom here is a triangle, a purple triangle. That's the radio on the plane that has now picked up the frequency. You saw the triangle just dart across there. It's now picked up from that 108.1 frequency the localizer. Okay, so it's picked up where the plane needs to fly to land. It's called the localizer. And what that's telling me is that this centre line here, the runway is to the right. Okay, there's some extra symbols you put on there as well. Very bad day weather out there. Real weather conditions as well. So what we can do now is we can tell the plane, cool, brilliant, you're on it, you've got that we're kind of trying to land. So I can turn lateral navigation off and put it onto this second mode, which is VOR LOC. So you don't want to do it while the plane's turning. So roughly when it's level out, I'm going to switch that on, switch lateral navigation off, and now you'll see that the green light's gone from the top here, and there's a white light, VOR LOC. And what that's doing is it's telling the plane, now I want you to home in on this at the bottom. So as the plane flies, when that diamond, as you cross the flight path to the runway itself, the plane will automatically turn and align itself with the runway. When it's picked up and locked on that frequency, and when it's happy, when it's doing that of its own accord, that light will turn green. When that light turns green, you can then click on approach, APP. At the moment we can't do it. So it's not locked on to the frequency yet, it's not kind of auto landing. But as the plane goes through, you'll now see that it has gone green and there's a box around it. You'll also see that there's another diamond that's appeared for vertical navigation, up and down. So we're now, if we click approach, we're now telling the plane to fly both the up and down diamond and the left and right diamond, if you like. And basically what that means is you're saying to the plane, you can land yourself. So we're going to apply a little bit of flaps. And we're going to dial in to 160 knots. The trick to any smooth landing is that the plane is going as slow as possible. Now obviously the danger is you go too slow, the plane would stall, it would drop out of the sky. So you need enough speed to move the plane around, but the plane going sufficiently slowly so that any emergency or anything at all can be taken account of. And that's why you use flaps. The flaps alter the dynamic of the wing, they alter the profile of the wing, and they mean that the plane can fly at much slower speeds. So where a plane would normally stall, if you've got the flaps deployed, it's altered the profile of the wing, the plane can fly and manoeuvre at much slower speed. Now you can see, I don't know how far out we are actually, could do with checking that. We're on final and we're not far off now. So what I need to do is I need to I'll give it some more flaps, and I'm going to deploy the speed brake. We also need to put the undercarriage out. So I'll put G for gear. Down they go. I can see I've got 3 red lights at the minute. They should turn green. With any luck, 1 green, 3 green. So the lights have turned green, that means the undercarriage is out, the wheels are out, we're ready to land. I can now disengage the speed brake because we're going nice and slow. And the plane is automatically doing this. I'm not doing a left or right, the plane's automatically doing it. And in fact I can show you the view from the tower. Isn't that great? Can't see a thing. Never mind. So the plane's on final approach. Flying into Belfast. This is Belfast, dead ahead. Belfast City Airport. And like I say, it's all being done automatically by the autopilot. I'm going to dial in a different speed. I put the speed in. If I put 200 knots in there, the plane will try and do it at 200 knots. It's come up flare here. That means that the plane is ready to slow down. It's ready to shimmy around a little bit. It's finding the centre line of the runway. I've got the anti-skid auto brake on. I'm going to do what you shouldn't do, but I've no joystick, so I'm going to put the parking brake on as well. So as soon as the plane lands, then it's going to try and start stopping, if that makes any sense. So we can see we're coming in. And there, down it goes, touchdown. And like I said, because I've no control over the plane, unfortunately. But it does actually look like it's doing a perfect, straight down the centre line, brakes applied. You're not going to get any better than that. That's a perfect landing, done completely by the instrument landing system. Yeah, whatever, that's the people telling everybody. I love that little touch of realism there. And that's it. How easy do you want it? 13 minutes of your life, but you now see how easy it is to auto land the plane. I will just tell you where I was really struggling before. When it came to this, where I was really struggling was I wasn't looking for the diamonds, so that was causing all kinds of problems. So you've got to be aware that the diamond going across, you want to switch on the VOR lock, and then the diamond going up and down. Once the VOR lock has gone green in this box here, then you can press APP approach. The plane will then automatically land. And like I said earlier, you need the right number in the nav1 and nav2 computer. I put the same number in both just to be safe. So there we go. I hope that's been useful to any newbies, any people out there like me who aren't great on this kind of thing. But it means you can auto land at any airport iOS equipped runway in the world, and it just adds a little bit more realism should you, like me, want to fly when you haven't got a joystick. There's no joystick and rudder attached to my MacBook. So that's it. Thanks a lot. Hope it's been of use, and happy flying. Oh, if you want to follow me, by the way, from Paul on Twitter, from Paul's iPhone, here on YouTube. Thank you for flying with the x737. Oh, that's awful cheesy. I'm going to have to do the whole video again now.